Okay, so today you're going to create your puzzle pieces in Tinkercad. Here's an example of a Tinkercad file that I created that has all the pieces. We'll talk about how you're going to turn these in just a moment. So let's take a look at the puzzle cube. Okay, so here's the puzzle cube and here are the pieces. Okay, this is the yellow piece. Okay, this is the red piece. This is the green piece. This is the orange piece, and this is the blue piece. Okay, and they can be put back together, but we won't take the time to do that right now. Okay, so going into Tinkercad, we're going to start a new file. So to do that, I'm going to click on Create New Design. And I get a work plane that pops up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to edit our grid because we default to millimeters. We're going to move to inches. Okay, and we're going to leave it at 1/8 of an inch for the snap grid. And the snap grid means when you hit the arrow key, it snaps 1/8 of an inch in whatever direction you are arrowing. Okay, we're also going to make use of the view cube up here, where you can turn things and look at things flat on. If I want to look at it from the front, or I can kind of tilt it and look at it from an isometric view. I'm going to start by dragging out a cube. And when I click on this little handle, it tells me it's 1 inch. But that's not the correct size because I know that my cubes are 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to change that to 0.75, that to 0.75. So I've got my width and my depth at 0.75. I'm going to click on this little white dot here to change my height to 0.75. Now I've got a cube of the right size. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to select it and do a Control C so that I can now use that exactly sized cube that I want. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the front view. I did a Control C and I'm going to zoom in a little bit and I'm going to do a Control V. Here's my new cube. I'm going to click over until it's exactly even. If I go a little bit further, it is 1/8 of an inch off, so I'm going to left arrow back. Okay, and now I have 2 cubes. The piece that I'm going to make is going to be, it looks like a T with a piece sticking up. So I'm going to paste again and arrow over. Okay, this time I want this to come out in this direction. So I'm going to select that cube and Control C and Control V it. Okay, I'm going to line it up perfectly this way, and then I'm going to rotate my view in this direction. And I'm going to use my left arrow to move it out. Okay, the last thing I need to do for this piece is I need to have a cube on top. So I'm going to take this cube again. I'm going to Control C, Control V it. I'm going to arrow it so it lines up, and this time I need to raise it. So to raise it, I'm going to use this little black cone. Just going to drag it up a little, and then down here is how high I've dragged it up. Instead of dragging it up 1/4 of an inch, I want to drag it up 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75. And now I have the piece that I have called my green piece. So I'm going to click and drag around it, and I'm going to group all the parts of it. So now it is one piece. When I move it, the whole thing moves. I'm also going to change the color, and I'm going to call it green. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to call this Puzzle Cube Green. Okay? At this point, I have my first piece, and I'm going to continue to do this with my other pieces. Actually, I'm thinking maybe we should create all of the parts in one file. So I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to call, no, let's keep it this way because it'll make it easier for me. I might edit out this section, guys. All right, so let's keep it, we'll call it Puzzle Cube, and I'm going to call it today's date. Okay, so now I'm going to take that whole piece and I'm going to move it out of the way. I'm going to build my next piece by doing a Control V, and here's my cube again. Just checking the sizes. It's 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 3/4 of an inch tall. And then I would create a second piece. I'm going to continue until I have all 5 of my puzzle pieces created. Coming back out to Tinkercad, when I finish, my file will look something like this. Now, depending on how you built your pieces, you might need to rotate them for printing, okay? So you always want to make sure you have a flat bottom without anything hanging over. So you don't want to have anything levitating in the air. So if for some reason I created this piece in such a way, let's just position it, that it was, trying to get to 180, upside down, you wouldn't turn it in this way. You're going to think about the optimal way to place each piece. Probably the best way to place this piece would be to lay it flat on the ground like this. So I'm rotating, I'm clicking here, I'm grabbing that arrow, and I'm going to drag. I can also type in the number, so I'm going to say 90 degrees. And if it's levitating, which this is, I'm going to need to grab that black cone and put it down at 0. Okay, when the time comes, here's how you're going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to rename this. Okay, puzzle cube. Okay, you're going to rename it and you're going to put your name in it. So you're going to put your period. So let's say I'm in period 9A. Okay, I'm going to put 9A and then I'm going to put my last name. Okay, so let's get rid of the date here. So I'll call it puzzle cube dash 9A for period dash last name. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select a piece one at a time for exporting. You're going to click here and you're going to rename this because this piece is the blue piece. So you're going to add blue to it and you're going to make sure it's clicked on and you're going to hit export. When you hit export, you're going to say just the selected shape, not everything in the design. And you're going to choose STL and it will download to your downloads folder. You're going to do the same thing for the next piece. So this is your red piece. You're going to come in, you're going to rename this red, and you're going to make sure it's selected, export, and you're going to export it as an STL, the selected shape only. Okay, once you have everything exported, you're going to go into OnCourse, and in OnCourse, you can upload or attach all of your STL files and turn them in. So good luck and have fun with this.